We are back, man. What's up?
Yeah, hey man, how you been?
Good, man. Yourself?
Been good, man. Just like I said, making new goals, man, and accomplishing that.
Hey, rightfully so, man. So, as you see, new goals, new year,
Yeah.
big stuff coming on.
Hey, big year for you, man. Big year for you.
Hopefully, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, hey man, every year's better than the last one. So I mean,
that's the goal. That's the goal. And as you see here, man, welcome back to Blazing Questions. And as you can't see, as you've seen, my man Brendan is back, man.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Hey, so if you didn't check out the first one, make sure you do that.
Yeah, there's a little link right there.
Somewhere in here. Somewhere in here, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Well, we enjoyed this. And my man came with gifts, so this one, look. Original. So shout out to 219, man. This is going to be for y'all, representing.
For the Steel City.
Hey, if anybody in this, y'all know what that logo means. Look.
You know.
Northwest Indiana. Hey, 219, we fuck with y'all heavy. Shout out to y'all, man. But right back into what we were saying, man. New year, new goals, man.
Yeah, man. So
what you got going on for what's on the top of your list? What's the new goals for you?
Man, new goals for me? That's a great question, man. Well, one thing I've been really diving towards is health and wellness,
Hey, rightfully so.
Because I've been doing a lot of personal studying for myself, what I ingest, and I've just been doing a lot of research into like the food we eat, the things we listen to, the stuff we see, the stuff the people around us say and think or think they know or whatever, Just kind of like thinking about, let's talk about a good old American breakfast. I'm talking about some good old bacon, some eggs, some hash browns, and a good old cup of orange juice. Let's start with the orange juice. You know that orange juice is terrible for you, right? You know that. Well, no. If you take the orange and you get a little juicer and get the juice out yourself, that's completely fine. That's orange juice. But the orange juice we drink from the store, Tropicana, anything, they pasteurize it. They heat it up to about 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and then by that point, that boils out all the nutrients. So really, what's only left is the sugar, which is just straight fucking diabetes. You might as well just drink a can of soda for breakfast. Hey. So starting off, bullshit. Let's talk about bacon. You eating some hog ass. Best way to put it. Some hog ass.
Hey.
And then you got your eggs, which is just chicken fetus, and especially if you like your eggs runny, that's just a runny fetus. And then we talking about, some potatoes.
On y'all right now.
And some potatoes, you got some, potatoes are decent, that's starch, some people may have different opinions on potatoes, but now you gotta fry it in oil, put some like salt, pepper on it, maybe throw some cheese on it later. We're not even gonna get into the cheese, and I ain't gonna get talking about milk, and so, but just everything that we were told is just like, that's what we were told to do, and it's all garbage. And I've been kind of realizing all the garbage that I've put out myself with my past music about the content. I mean, the music sonically sounded great, but the content was trash.
Okay.
And that music, and I was kind of on the verge, when we did that interview last time, I was kind of on the verge of, changing my content and everything, because me and CY had really kind of, been diving deep into more so health and wellness, and he's put me on to a whole bunch of books, a whole bunch of Neville Goddard and stuff like that.
So speaking of like health and wellness, like you do like health and wellness, like you're a cook, right?
Yeah. I'm a sushi chef. I actually got into that because sushi was one of the few things that didn't hurt my stomach.
Oh, see?
And and I would just eat sushi a lot, and so I have a weak stomach, and I got celiac, which is just an allergy to gluten, really.
Okay.
And so that's how I got into food, and being very much into food, man. I guess the allergy is why I love food, and what got me into health, because I had to start looking at all the labels, and and I'm just reading all these labels, and eventually, like, I'm reading just a basic little package, and I'm like, wait, there's like 50 things.
He said, "Look, too much stuff going on."
Yeah, and I'm just looking for wheat, barley, rye, or oats and stuff when I'm looking at this stuff, and like.
Where you normally shop at?
Well, as of recently, man, I've just been shopping at Whole Foods just because food's so damn expensive. You might as well just shop there now.
He said, "Look, prices don't matter.
Yeah, it don't even matter no more, man. Because you know what?
Inflation is taking over.
Just shop at Whole Foods. It's the same damn price anyway, you know. And so, but I do that, you know. I eat oatmeal and berries in the morning. But I'm capping. I got some M&Ms right now. I'm eating some bullshit. So
Hey, shut up, fuck it. I'm cheating today.
I ain't going front. Like I'm eating M&Ms and smoking weed, so I can't be fully here on like, oh, well, you gotta watch what you ingest. You know, we're eating GMOs.
Hey, it's all in light, man. We just try. It's goals and steps. You have to, you know, get there. You know, you can't just happen overnight.
Nah, man.
Take steps to improve your health, improve your wealth, and do that. But yeah, man. Welcome back to Blazing Questions, man. This is a special one. I love chilling with 219 Representative, bringing it to life in Colorado. So we were just chilling, smoking, vibing with the people today. You are an artist, so like you said, you changed up your content.
Yeah.
So do you got any projects or anything coming out currently?
You know, I got some new content I'm dropping. Yeah, of course, me and CY we're always, you know, working on something new. You know, CY he's actually out in 219 right now doing some.
Shout out to CY.
Shout out to CY, man. Couldn't be here right now, but you know he's here in spirit. You know, but he's actually right now, you know, working on some DJing stuff.
Okay.
And so he's getting that down. He's got a board and everything. And so he's yeah, we definitely got a lot of that collaborative stuff coming up with that. But as far as for my most recent projects, I got some, I guess you can call it a mixtape, you know. But I got some stuff that I'm really just going to be putting out these songs, you know, on YouTube, SoundCloud stuff, and they're unofficial kind of songs, but they are, you know, they'll be videos. And I'm kind of putting the my culinary game into, you know, my music. I'm mixing the two of them. So, you know, that is something that I figured is like, you know what, I can talk about that because that's something that's real to me, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, go. I like lit the paper so the oxygen was getting out, so it was just. But anyway. So yeah, so you know, I've just been trying to be more conscious of what I'm ingesting, and you know, like I told you, you know, a little early when I was when I showed my you know, I have a good relationship with my pastor. That's like one of my best friend's dads, you know. And he told me, he was like, "Oh, show me your music," and I was like, we were in church, you know, and I was like, "Yo, like, I'm cussing, like, kind of a lot too." And he's like, "That's fine, just show me the song." So I was like, "Okay, all right." So I just want to let you know we're in a holy place, you know.
Just, you know, warning.
Or yeah, right. Gotta let him know. And he listened to it, and he thoroughly listened to the lyrics, and he's like, it's a good song. You know, I hear what you're trying to say. It sounds good, but just that cussing, man. And then, so you know, I started to be a little bit more conscious of what I'm putting out. You know, as far as like, you know, just what I'm saying, and like, do you need to say all these cuss words? And then I started thinking about, okay, well, when I listen to rappers, do I like hearing them talk about sell crack? Do I enjoy that?
I mean, that's kind of where we're at in this space. There's so much music being put out today that, you know, the blueprint can change. So that's kind of the old blueprint of what music has been since the 80s or 90s, or whatever you want to, you know, crown the change.
Because I wasn't really around in the 80s, you know. I mean, you neither. And so, like, from what I understand, when hip-hop, or even in the 70s, hip-hop was really coming out, you know, it's talking about, what's that song like? Your mama's on crack. It was that, you know, your mama's on crack. You know, and it was about how crack affects, you know, communities and affects families. You know, then we eventually got to the Jay-Z's, where, you know, they start talking about the entrepreneurial side. And I think it's just America, we love two things, you know. We love capitalism.
True. And
crack dealers, drug dealers are just street capitalists. And what if 50 said it best? America got a thing for this gangster shit.
Yeah.
You know? And like that's just That was a terrible 50 Cent impression. That sounded like more of like a Don Corleone impression. That's like my Don Corleone reciting some 50 Cent lyrics impression.
He said, "Look, I ain't got the." So I did it by Italian. Because just like speaking of just the content, like your new content, what made you want to just steer into doing something new? Like you said, how did you feel your last project was received?
I mean, people loved it. People loved it. I mean, they liked how it was maybe a little different. Like some of the song titles, like "Sex Machine" and "Porno Music," were funny. And they were people loved the songs, and it was a great project. It flowed great. It had a good kind of it all stayed together. It wasn't like just a compilation of songs, how a lot of albums are. And so it was a good piece of art, but no one really pointed out anything negative, even really my mom. She didn't really have much to say, nothing too negative about it. So shouts out mom.
Okay.
But it was more so myself, and my dad definitely agreed with a lot of things that I felt, but it was more so myself. I just kind of felt that the content of what it was, and I guess this last year I've been on very much of a spiritual and religious journey, and just kind of just trying to think about what the hell it is we're doing here,
Agreed, right?
And kind of going back to the blueprint, that you had mentioned is like so many people are stuck on a blueprint. We're stuck on the blueprint of how to dress, how to act, the relationships to have, like the way we're supposed to do art, the way that the art is, the content behind it. I mean, the edits. I mean, the way that producers lay out beats or the certain kind of percussion they use, the instruments, which synth or which kind of key we're using. I mean,
we just passed. We're in that area where we just kind of follow what works. So
follow by using, because we're not consciously thinking. We're using our subconscious brain. So one of my friends told me, he was like, "Yo, so one thing that I try to do is I try to take different routes home as much as I can." Now, someone who's still kind of new to the city, it's kind of hard for me to do. I might end up in Broomfield, but I do it when I can, especially if I'm on my little area that I'm used to, I try to take different routes home, because he said, when you take the same route, think about it, it's like because that's what I would say 99% of people take the same route to and home from work.
Yeah.
I think
it's
that's
comfortable.
Yeah.
It don't even, like, you get into an area where you don't even think about it, like you drive and boom, you at work. Boom, like the whole you're not mindful. You're not in that present moment.
You are not using your brain. You are not using your conscious brain. You are not using the part of your brain that is meant to formulate thoughts and ideas. You are using the part of your brain that is forced to habit. And as we all know, so many things that we do is out of habit. And habit, and another word that I like to use for habit is program. Because we get into a program. Humans are so programmable, and and we're programmed by our parents. We're programmed. Oh shit! One sec. See what's him. Hey man, we got you on the podcast right now.
Hey, look! Shout out to CY. What's up, gang?
What's good with you, man? I'll spin some heat, man. What's good?
Shit, man. I was hoping you would just answer. I was let me call this nigga real quick. Did he answer while he on the podcast?
So you trying to be on the podcast right now? All right, hold on.
No, because I'm driving. I just wanted to say what's up.
All right, man. It's good to see you, bro.
Hell yeah.
And we play Maryville tonight, so we about to go ahead and try and get this done quick.
Hey,
okay.
Shout out to my people in Maryville, man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but I'm gonna let y'all continue to do y'all thing, bro. Y'all have a good Saturday. Stay blessed. Be safe out there.
Yeah, you as well, my guy. Stay safe.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. Hell yeah, shouts out to CY, man.
Hey.
But anyways, back to the program. program.
Program.
Right? So, we get programmed by our communities, our schools, our parents, our peers, our media, and go back to media when you look at how you know what, just roll a clip real quick. And so I'm gonna show this video and fuck. Shouts out editing, bro. Everything is edited.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Twitch though. We are live on Twitch.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh, shouts out Twitch. I didn't even know that. Alright, bet. Oh man, they in the background. Alright, well I'm gonna just play. Should I just play the video for Twitch now?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is a video that I saw about how everything is kind of just, marketed towards certain how much they plan the marketing. I'll just show the fucking video. I'm talking too much.
This is the dark side of the music industry. Artists on major labels do not get paid as much as you think. But even though the percentage is smaller, the pie is bigger. You may be wondering why you haven't heard from your favorite artist in a while. It could be that they got shelved by the label. When a record label has a huge roster of hundreds of artists, they have to prioritize the top artists and get the other artists out of the way, so they get shelved. And what you may not know is that song royalties are sold like stocks. So the name of the game is to make an artist super popular so that they can sell their song royalties at a higher multiple. Think of this like mortgage-backed securities. Investors put their money in to get monthly returns. And similar to cell phone coverage, radio stations have limited terrestrial territories. What this means is that record labels can synthesize celebrity by galvanizing enough radio stations in a given terrestrial radius to combine them to create social proof. Think of it like your Instagram Explore page. We all think this is our reality, but everyone has a different experience on the Explore page. If enough people see the same thing in the same amount of time, they believe that it's real. And when you have market consolidations of radio stations around the US, what they've done now is syndication. This is why most states hear the same exact music at the same exact time. Whether it's radio or Spotify playlist, it's all the same game. In the next video, I'll show you.
And so from that, dude, when he talks about, like, you see how calculated it is. And then, when you talk to certain, I've talked to certain people in the industry, certain engineers and people like that, and they've worked with these, famous artists. And we kind of touched on this in the last episode, how, rappers like 21 Savage and Future, they don't do the drugs at an excessive amount on, like, recurrently. Maybe when they're recording the album or maybe at certain times, but I've heard multiple stories about rappers. They'll literally have drugs there just in the studio for the people that are in the studio session, and they'll maybe smoke some weed, maybe drink a little bit, but they don't really do the drugs, be drinking the lean like that. And then a lot of the ones, and too much, but I know that some let me choose my words carefully.
Are you good?
Okay, so I know that some rappers that have, like, that really do drink a lot of lean and do a lot of pills like that, but they are good artists and they do have, like, clout and motion. A lot of artists that end up losing that is because of the drugs. There's a lot of artists, there's times where they'll go away and then they'll be like, oh, yo, so-and-so's making a comeback. Like, I haven't heard their music in a long time. A lot of times because they be slumped off lean so much. And so,
so back to your health and wealth. You got to keep yourself in a good physical shape, mental shape, all the emotional shape.
Yeah, man, you got to get your emotions together.
Yeah, all the above. So you got to make sure you're aligned with yourself and, pushing forward. So
drink water.
Definitely drink water. Stop all that lean shit.
Drink water, man.
Yeah.
You don't really need too much else.
Yeah, now I'm big on, like you said, I got a water, body armor.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Gatorades, that's kind of what we do. Look, I got a pineapple cup right here.
Right.
We big on fruits and waters here, so
hell yeah.
All about just keeping yourself together.
Mm.
You got any shows, anything coming up this year?
Definitely over the summer. Me and C-Wog gonna be hitting it hard. Nothing I can really speak on quite yet. I mean, I'm consistently hitting up open mics though, so you can always catch me in the city.
Okay.
But
where's your normal spot you kind of go to?
You know, I've been kind of going around. I like the Wolf Wednesdays. You know, they got some really cool stuff going.
I'm gonna have to
You know,
check it out.
they got some crazy artists, some really great artists, and I'll be like, damn, y'all out in Denver. You know? and it's a really great place if you're in the Denver area to meet new artists, and I really enjoy it. You know, when I've gone there. And
Wolf Wednesdays.
Wolf Wednesdays.
We're gonna come check you out. We did a battle rap show at the 778 last night, so shout out to everyone that was there. That was definitely a different vibe. It was one of my first ones. So yeah, it was different. It's like, oh, battle rap in Denver.
Hell yeah.
So I got some clips. We're gonna drop them on the channel. Pretty fire, you know.
No, yeah.
So definitely new scenes, new growing. A lot of people. I met some artists from like LA, Vegas. So the scene is growing here. It's crazy.
And it's really the scene in Denver that kind of, I guess just the whole Colorado, Denver, everything, you know, has really kind of helped change me, which ultimately changes my art, because my art is just an expression of myself.
Yeah.
And so in the Denver scene, because I love it because it doesn't have an established scene. And it's so great to be
so
part
what
of
do
working
you
on
feel like the Denver scene is?
As far as like sonically?
Yeah, like how do you feel going through the city? Like, all right, so from my personal opinion, like there's not like established hip hop sound or anything, but the city is so creative, so it's so many different sounds, and like there's so many artsy people here. That's not where I'm from. So it's different outlets. It just haven't have a dominant sound yet.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, when I think of, you know, LA or California, you know, you think of...
Yeah. That's because no one has had that unique song that really, you know, went to the masses from Colorado yet.
And I guess my whole thing that I'm seeing is... So, Chicago, even Gary... They make music for people in Chicago and Gary.
It's more of a drill, hard beats.
Yeah.
Atlanta is like more up club.
Yeah, but West they Coast make music like... that represents the people, and the people like it. That's why, like I said, with that video, you know, you see if someone can get really popping in their area, and if they can create something that people can latch on to, and these people in these, you know, these corporate buildings that are pulling strings, whoever the hell they are, you know, they see that and they know the signs of it, and they will back that person, and it'll be like, and then they'll put them on those other areas, you know, and all these other platforms and stuff. And so, you know, Denver just doesn't really. Out of the artists here, I don't think the artists they're so talented. But I think they could be more true to themselves. I think that the artists that I've come to see out here, they're, like I said, they're very talented. And the thing is, a lot of them, there's a lot of transplants. I mean, hey, shout out to transplants.
So we want,
right? You know, there's a lot of transplants here, and so it can make sense how someone coming from Florida sounds like someone from Florida, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing is with Denver, I hear a lot of people doing the Michigan type rap, or, you know, Chicago drill type rap, or, you know, West Coast type rap, and I think they're totally losing the potential of what Denver has to offer, and even we need Colorado like a vibe
chill rap somehow.
I mean, like Travieso, he had his own kind of sound going. And I feel like that's why people really latched on to him. You know what I mean? It was kind of like Cali West Coast, but it still felt original to him. I mean, to me, you know, it felt like it was original, genuine to him too. You know?
Yeah.
But like, I feel that Denver could definitely, I don't know, just make something that the city likes. Because I've been seeing, like I saw this one time, there people was kind of going back and forth. Some club promoters were, you know, or some of the artists were mad at the club promoters because they're like, you know, you guys are booking freaking dudes that were popping in 2005, and you got artists here that kind of have motion, and you should just invest with them. And then the promoters are like, well, sell out your hometown first and we'll talk. So you kind of have them both pointing fingers at each other.
I mean,
and then it's like, well,
yin and yang.
yeah, it's like, well, get the people to support you, you know? And so it's like, well, then how do you get the people to support us? And so you should just, you know, make music, you know, that's original to yourself. And I think that people will see that and people will, you know.
See, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's true. But these days, artists also don't like to put in the groundwork. People don't want to go to venues and just perform in front of 5, 10 people. People want to be here already. So that's people want to go on the internet and blow up and then come out and it's just like
instant gratification.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, the game is so backwards right now.
Yeah.
So,
you know, but the process is the whole fun part.
Yeah. So people, you gotta find a balance of what works. Like you want to go get sold out shows in your city. People got to know you in your city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just be 10,000 followers and nobody know who you is in your city.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it has to be a balance.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because you gotta have your internet presence.
You gotta have an internet presence, or nobody will want to engage with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what the fuck?
But then, for me, it kind of still all comes back to is, of course, you should want to have a good fun. What do you want as an artist? Because I feel that in this day of age, with the internet, with social media and all the new social medias to come, I mean, it's just a new platform after new platform, and it's like, you know, and it's like essentially, why are you creating music? You know, it kind of brings me back to Nacho Libre. That movie changed my life. Nacho Libre, you know, it's about, you know, Ignacio. You know, he's a man of God.
Shout out to Jack Black, man.
That's my biggest Mexican role model. My bad, yo. My bad, Mike. My bad, Mike.
Don't drop the goals.
Yeah,
successful stoners, man. Yeah, you good.
My bad, Mike.
But
Y'all saw me fuck up live on Twitch. Anyway. Ignacio, man, you know, he's a man of God. He loves the children, and but you know, he doesn't really like his life. He sleeps alone every night in a little room. That's all he really has. He's a cook, you know, but he doesn't have the right ingredients. And he loves the luchadors because they have all the valor. You know, they have the nice emotions. He wants to be like Ramses. Ramses is the best, you know, and. You know, and so he wants to be a luchador for that reason, you know, and finds out he can make money, and he starts blessing, you know, the kids and the whole, I guess, orphanage, you know, making these nice dishes. And so he enjoyed that, but he kept losing and kept losing and kept losing, and he failed miserably every time. He was getting paid, but you know, he was still able to do something, but he wanted I want to win, you know?
Don't we all?
I want to win! And so one day, you know, when he came back to the orphanage, you know, the kids, they were, you know, wrestling and stuff because, you know, Chancho, he loved Nacho, you know, and he was, you know, so he was inspired by Nacho. And so Encarnacion, you know, she you know, him and them broke it up, and you know, he's like, oh no, it's okay, they're just getting their wiggles out. And she's like, no, they are fighting in the place of God. And luchadors, you know, they're false idols, and that is blasphemy against God, and they are fighting for glory, and and you know, and he kind of feels personally attacked, you know, because he's a luchador on the low, and so, you know, he's like, well, okay, so if fighting is bad, like, what? Can someone fight for something good? And will the Lord bless them? And she's like, yeah. So, you know, that's my rendition of my prayer, man.
Changed my life.
Changed my life, you know? Because it's like, because then Nacho, it's like, okay, now bringing it back to the music, it's like, what are you making music for? What is he fighting for?
What are you doing it for? That's kind of...
Are you making the music for yourself? Are you making it because you want to be this dude that people look at? Is it and do you want to do that because of vanity? I mean, is that like a narcissistic thing that you want? I mean, do you want money? Yeah, of course. We all want to live abundantly.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, that's why God put us here, is to live abundantly. I mean, God didn't put us here to struggle.
Okay, but
Even though life is about suffering,
the powers that be have created
yeah,
this what's this false reality of the world. So,
yeah.
Once we get to the real world, you'll see how things should be. But
Yeah. But till then, you can create your own little world.
yeah,
And that's kind of like and so kind of bringing it back out with the whole music thing is like, so it's like, what's the effect you want to have? And once you can answer the question is, why am I making music? Is this just my job? Is this how I'm going to make my money? Because if so, that's cool.
I mean,
That's what 50 Cent did. 50 Cent came in, made some hard ass, made one of the hardest hip hop albums ever, got the money, left, and now he's doing his, other stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's with music, but you can just channel that into yourself personally all around. Who do you want to be as a person? Why do I get out of my house and go do this every day?
Have purpose.
Yeah, have purpose.
Yeah.
It's just in anything you do, not just in music. You can have purpose when you with your family, chilling, loving with care,
And I think because of the instant gratification and all of that we have, it's like, 300 years ago, if I wanted strawberries, I'd have to go get the strawberry seeds, wait till strawberry season, plant the seeds away from. Nowadays, dude, I can order them on my phone, and I'll get them, and I'll be like, no, they're not as ripe as I want them to be.
Yeah.
And like, and I feel that a lot of times, we lose purpose in life just because we have everything I want is here.
Yeah, so
hold on, just like look at this guy, right? We got, you know what I'm saying? We got Steve Jobs, we got
it's changed the world.
Everything that you could want isn't here. So it's like, if everything I could want isn't here, why would I go out there?
So yeah, no, it's definitely a switch that needs to happen. I don't know how to happen or how it's going to happen. Maybe it never happens. So, but we have to learn to deal with it. We gotta learn to communicate and just understand that everyone don't have instant gratification to everyone. So now if someone texts you, they want an instant response. They want an instant callback. They want, you know what I'm saying?
My mom be on that, bro.
Like that wasn't your thing. Phones was not even a thing, bro. Remember you left your house as a kid. No phone.
Nobody knew.
Yeah, nobody knew. You just out there. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be back.
Yeah. So it's just like now it's just like even your girlfriend wants to know. Hey, they sharing locations. You know what I'm saying? It's like what?
Like my PO don't do that.
Like we got share locations as a couple. It's like invasion of privacy has gone way overboard.
Oh yeah. So, I'll get in arguments with my mom. She'll be like, she'll call me and she'll be like, you don't answer the group chat. You don't answer your text message. I'll be like, Mom, when you were my age, when my mom moved from Chicago to California, you know how she talked to her mom? They would send home a tape recorder, and they would talk on a microphone. This is how my month's been. Send it to Chicago. My grandma would hear it, flip the tape over, erase it, and then she's talking on a microphone. And then, send it back. And that is how they communicated. I was like, Mom, when you were my age, your mom didn't get on you for not answering the group chat. One of 3 group chats that I have with my mom. And it's like, damn.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and so we are so overconnected. And I think the internet community that has gotten so strong, I think that has diminished the real community within the people, And
so now people can't even sit and have regular conversations.
Really, and the way. So I'm someone who believes, in energy, in vibrations, and how people
100%.
can, and that's just science, I mean, there's quantum physics. You study quantum physics, you'll see that everything at its most basic point is just energy,
elements.
It just, and
atoms, electron. Hey man, basic science, man. Basic science.
And vibrations, that's just at its basic form is electromagnetic energy. So everything is just energy, at its most basic point. You know, even us, like your hand is solid, but you know, we all know that everything is just one individual cell next to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and you have a new body all the time. Your cells are constantly dying and, you know, reforming. So it's like the body you had at 8 years old is not the one you have at 28.
Agreed.
You know, and so the body that we have is not even a steady, constant thing. And so bringing it back, because I get very deep into that, you know, community, you know, and so energy that we emit, you know, if I walk in the room and I'm pissed off and I'm whatever, you can see it, you know, you see it in my face. If I'm very happy, you know, you can see it in my face and like you can feel it too.
Yeah.
You know, hear it in my voice. So we emit energy and we project. That's all that humans do. We project. If I'm angry, if I'm happy, I'm gonna project it onto you. You know, that's just what humans do. And so, you know, we emit certain, you know, energies and the people within the community, they collectively create an energy within a community. Because you have, you know, a lot of times, and even in Denver, see, like, I forget who I was talking to, but Denver has the weirdest hoods. and here's the thing, I live in New Denver. I live in gentrified Denver.
Okay.
I live in post-gentrified Denver. Because, you know, pre-gentrification is completely different. Because, like, my dad even lived in Aurora back in, like, the 80s and 90s, or I think it was the 80s, like late 80s, and he, you know, he's seen Aurora now, and he's like, no, it's completely different, you know, and so, you know, from the way, you know, it's a transplant, the New Denver hoods are so weird because it's like, it's literally, because of gentrification, they have narrowed it down to just certain blocks, because I guess, you know, for certain, maybe rules or stuff, you need certain kind of affordable housing in every city, you know, and like, you know, because I do, you know, I got my own not-for-profit. I cut hair at homeless shelters, like youth homeless shelters.
Fire.
So, yeah, you know, it's something that I just, I don't know, wanted to do. And so, so anytime I go to a new homeless shelter, it's always in the hood, or the little, and it's always in a sectioned out part. And it's right in, all the other parts are very nice and very well planned, and it's like the hood is well planned too. But we all know that the hood is very well planned, and so, you know, I'm just, when I go into these areas, you know, because normally it's like, okay, the average hood is like, okay, let's talk about like Indiana. Okay, so you got Chesterton, Valparaiso, you know, and then those are like some nice middle class, you know, middle to upper class white neighborhoods, and then you got like, you know, maybe, you know, like you know, Portage, and then that's kind of like, you know, lower middle class white, and then you maybe have, you know, like Miller, and then, you know, maybe the borderline of like Lake Station, that's kind of like lower white trash kind of.
Yeah.
And you got the Puerto Rican hood right next to it. Then you got Hammond, Gary, you know, and then those are like the Mexican and black parts, and of course East Chicago, you know, all that stuff. And so, but it's a gradual, you know, it's like a color swatch.
Yeah, no,
you know,
agree.
You know, as far as money and skin tone, it's really just like but in Denver, it's just like, you know, bloop. It's just like there, you know, it's not like a. It's just like
everyone's in there.
Yeah, it's just it's just like white to black. You know, it's just like, you know, it's just like, you know, it's crazy how it just goes like that, you know, and so, but it's a creation. You know, it's created that way. And so going back to what we emit, you know, so people in a community emit a collective energy. Even if you live in an area that maybe, let's say you're a super positive person, but you live in an area that's super negative, you're still a part of that pool.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
Even though you may be kind of fighting against that current, but you need more people like you to emit into that to get it out, you know, to get rid of that.
Like the whole idea of moving here, like and at the age I was about 20, 23, at that time I was living in Gary.
Yeah.
So being myself, just trying to create in that kind of environment is just like frustrating, you know what I'm saying? It can
Especially
be like
people you create with.
Yeah.
You know, there are different artists in every area, yeah.
Yeah, and it can just be like, it can be a mental block at sometimes. For me, I feel like dealing with all the outside distractions would hinder me from even getting this far where we are today. So that's why I had to move to create, like to really expand.
And what I was gonna get into, I'm glad you said that because that perfectly proves my next thought. Is someone who admits to an area that it doesn't identify with, they will move to a new area.
Yeah,
so they can admit into a
don't
different
end
one.
up self-destructing.
Yeah, because it's just like, and that could be vice versa. If you're a negative person in a positive area, you will go to a negative place.
Yeah, where you feel comfortable.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Where your energy is reciprocated.
Yeah,
so,
that's all it is. You know?
So that's why people are like, how you like Colorado Springs? I feel cool here. Like Gary in Chicago was fucking my energy up. Like I was becoming somebody I don't want to become. You know what I'm saying? I had to deal with people on a level that I don't want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So that's not what I want to do with my life. Because
we will always find a way to identify with our area.
Yeah.
Kind of like, before we, logged on, we were talking about how when I came out here, the mindset that I had been programmed to. I was still subconsciously do a lot of my habits that I had formed because I was in that area for almost my entire life.
You don't even understand. So that was one of the biggest things for me. Like when I was younger, after like moving from the Northwest Indiana to Chicagoland area, I moved out when I was like 19. I had the opportunity to go work for a company in like Missouri. So I did that for about a year, and then I moved back. When I moved back, I realized like, yo, this is different. You know what I'm saying? That was the first time I was gone for so long. So now my anxiety isn't so high, and I can actually cope with things a little differently. So when I went back and things is raising my anxiety and all these negative things that's happening, it's like, yo, I gotta go. I gotta go, or I'm gonna like self-destruct here. So
and there's times where I would be riding, just riding around Denver, and I'd be playing music that I used to play, and as I've been kind of different, like as my mind's been changing out here, I'll be like, listen. Some people, stupid. And I'll be in traffic and I'll see some dude,
Hey, shout out to Twitch, they going crazy.
Yeah, and like I'll be in traffic, man. Yeah, shouts out Twitch, man. So I'll be in traffic, and I'll see some dude, next to me. And he plays some shit like, yeah, fucked in the booty and I nutted on I'm just like, this dude is literally, he's like, and then I popped a perk.
And then subconsciously you're thinking about that as your day going on, even when you're not listening to the music, that's like your thoughts.
Dude, someone at my job was playing, wake up in the morning, I got murder on my AK-47, Mac 11, Glocks and knives. And I'm sitting over and I'm singing, I'm like, wake up in the morning, and I was like, and I got murder. I'm like, hold on,
wait a minute.
I'm a little different now, and I'm like, I got sucked into it.
See, but even like the first time I ever heard that song, I'm from the area, so like most songs is like that. It's like it's just a song. Yeah. But once it gets to that one verse, it was very cringy. Like that was very detailed for me. Like I never can. Be very vibe with that last verse for me.
Yeah.
Like,
and he died inside my arms, blood all over
shit. I don't know how people was like really vibing to that, because that had always been really cringy for me. Like the detail, you know what I'm saying?
And here's the thing, and this is like when I talk to certain people, like, so, because I grew up in all areas around Indiana. And in Northwest Indiana is funny because it's so segregated, but it's like if you go down 20 minutes, 30 minutes, new neighborhood, new everything. So it's so diverse and segregated at the same time.
Oh, you have to be there to kind of understand. But.
It's its own thing, and I love it.
I love it, but I can't be there.
Yeah, I can't be there because what I'm saying. I don't like the divide, and that's why I like Portage, because like where my grandma was at, she was like borderline like outskirt Gary, damn near, because we were right there, like right by the like the Welcome to Gary sign, but you know, it was a Portage address, but it was also right next to Lake Station. So like I was and I was right by the highway, so I could be in Chesterton in like 15 minutes, and so it's like, you know, and I could be in Chicago in 30. You know? So my grandma's house was in an area where it was just I wasn't segregated, and that's and that was kind of like where all like the even people ethnically would like come to, you know, and so it was. So like that little, my little section, my little right up there was I liked it. It was my comfort zone.
I agree.
You know, but what I was getting at is I forgot the point of areas. I forget. We were talking about Melly. We were talking about Melly. Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna talk about drill music. So it's like when I would be in Chesterton, you know. I'd be hearing some dude playing, you know, because, you know, I graduated in 2016.
Okay.
And so around like 2010 to
2016 was like the rise of like drill music.
Yeah, definitely 2012. I guess. Well, for me, I was just saying 2010 because that's when like I guess 2012 is like when it like globally, like globally. Yeah,
2010 and 2011, that's when people were starting to do it. By 2012, it was everywhere.
Oh yeah, 2012 it took over. Yeah. You know, so from 2010 to 2016, you know, I saw the rise of drill, and it was cool to be able to watch it. You know, and maybe it'd be weird because you'd have, you know, this kid listening to the newest drill music, probably the same shit they listening to on O Block, except this dude gets dropped off at a fucking farm. So to him, it's just entertainment.
Yeah, but
you know,
45 minutes, 30 minutes that way is life.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So
and it hits completely different because it's like this dude's like, yo, like this guy over here in the hood, like he relates to it, and then this dude over here, he sees it, he's like, oh, it's like a painting. You know, it's just like looking at a painting. You know, like a Frida painting, you know, it's just like looking at a painting and just like, oh, okay, that's a piece of art. Anyway, back to reality, you know. But you know, when you hear about, you know, bullets flying, homies dying, and then like, damn, that shit just happened to me. You know, it's like, okay, and it's more than just a piece of art. You know, it's like it's a reflection of yourself, and so
it's a reflection of yourself, a reflection of your thoughts, a reflection of your environment. So
when I would come out and like. You know, and I've worked with a lot of Chicago artists because I've been an engineer and stuff, and so I've worked with all types of Chicago artists, and so I've met all types of people, and so when I meet people who love like the King Vons and stuff like that, I always ask them, I say, how many murderers do you know? You know, like, you know, how many like gang members do you know? How many savages do you know? I don't really know. And me personally, I don't even know a lot. I know maybe like 2 or 3. You know,
it just depends on.
But with my life,
you know, some people glorify a lifestyle they don't necessarily live in, and people that live in that lifestyle don't necessarily glorify. So,
and I really only know just because of being in the music scene in that area. That's the only reason how I really came across certain types of people. But like, I did. You know, and that was even more than I would even care about. And so when I meet people who've never even met a single one, not even one, I'm like, you know, get to know one or two.
Yeah, you can tell in someone's energy and their approach and just what they talk about. Real is not a thing that has to be discussed. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of an energy, a vibe.
Yeah, and so for me. That's the real community, is just the energy of a community, you know. And one thing that I saw, so I watched this. It was a little like a 20-minute documentary on this town out in Detroit. I know it was in an area. It was like one of the worst areas, you know. And you had a lot of I think it were Middle Eastern immigrants that came out there. And they're like, all right, well, we're all just going to move here because this is like some of the cheapest property in America. And so, and honestly, after 10 years of doing that, middle to upper class neighborhood, you know, but it's all that, like, just that community. And you had these people from a different country that had different programming, different life experiences than us in America. And they were able to moved to an area that nobody cared for, and they cared for each other and they cared for the area, and they made each other wealth, kind of like Black Wall Street.
That's exactly what I was going to get into. But we gave up the powers to that, and we see the effects that has on us today. So
we gave up the powers by everybody being murdered. Nobody talking about it ever again in school or anything. When you suppress that it ever happened, it's like
so
it's easy to lose it.
I mean, they took it from us, so
yeah. And
it's
so
like a lot of stuff. Anything that can really enhance general wealth for us people as a minority, Black, Mexican, or Puerto Rican, they kind of took it from us. But that is what it is. This has been very, very, very enlightful energy-wise. Hopefully you guys got your energy right. We're going to pretty much wrap this up for YouTube. We're going to continue this conversation, though, on Twitch. So shout out to all y'all tuning in on YouTube. Keep hustling, keep grinding, keep smoking along. Hey, man, shout out to Buku for supplying us with the gas. Speaking of, we finna go get some more. But make sure y'all tune in on Twitch. We're going to keep it going.